3, 2, 1, roll the footage. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Simon Severino, your host. And today, my guest is a philanthropist, conscious technologist, and author of I Is Born. Living between Los Angeles and Paris, his life purpose is to open 1 billion hearts. We will go deep today into why finding harmony within helps your business grow and the 3 specific things you can do to find that harmony within. Welcome, everybody, Arnaud Saint-Paul.
Yay! Thank you, Simon, for having me.
Welcome, Arnaud. What are you currently creating?
Well, I have that urge to share a message about helping people to find harmony within, because I believe it is our birthright. And in these troubled times, it is quite important that we all focus on that and help ourselves to experience a life that is made of more coherence, more alignment, more peace and balance and love. And more importantly, more success in our business as well, because one is tied to the other. Very, very important. I mean, it's quite important, the tie between one and the other. So yeah, totally.
Coherence, alignment, success. Let's dive into those. What are those exactly?
Yes, coherence. So, it's like when you're creating a messaging for your clients, right? To acquire more clients, you have to be more and more aligned if you want to speak the right way to your clients so that they can actually convert into clients. So from leads to client, you need the most alignment you have, the more coherence you have, and therefore the more harmony there is, the more clients you get from that effort you've made. So if you take that and you apply it to the rest of your life and your business, then that brings automatically success, because again, you are like an instrument. You're looking to express the best tune you can be, right? You look to be the best version of your company, being the leader in your market. That is also finding coherence and alignment in your processes, in your content, in the way you approach leads and clients, so that everything, while it is aligning, brings more and more success. And the world in which you're thriving is bringing you more success still. So it's basically being in the flow of yourself, right? And that's what harmony is. It's really having or being that symphony of you that is without any false notes or typos, and to be the best you can be on that front. So this is what it is about. We have that possibility at our fingertips. We most of the time tend to choose difficulty, hustle, struggle, when in reality, by choosing to find these alignments within, we can come into that place of constant flow and alignment. Does that make sense?
We choose. Everybody can choose anytime. Are we capable of choosing?
Yes, we can. Yes, we all have that ability. Do we choose to use it or not? That's another matter. Do we believe that it's actually just a choice? Most often we don't, because we have that belief that we cannot do this or that, or that we are not good enough for this or that thing. So I know that it might be a stretch for some people, but I, confidently working with CEOs from international companies, I can say that once the person has gotten it, has started to make that choice, even for small things, then the engine starts, so to speak, and the alignment will bring more alignment of itself related to that topic that has been chosen, and it will start to become more and more effortlessly.
I just read your book, I is Born. How did writing the book change you?
Each path on that book, there are 66 paths, are an experience of another facet of I. It's called I because it's all about us, right? As a human, having this experience of ourselves. And that I goes through many different aspects of itself. It goes through, for instance, from persistence to surrender to trust to faith, etc. And these going through these poems will helps me to not only first understand from another perspective what it means to have wisdom or to have faith or to surrender, but it also helped me to be present to that aspect of me, of I, that is there always, but we don't necessarily choose to activate it or not. And that is important because we need those tools. We actually use them unconsciously. And the whole work that we have, if we choose to, is to become conscious of our choices and to so that we can start to have visibility. No, it's not, we don't want to manage our companies through the fog. That's not fun. When you're driving through the fog, you never know exactly when things are going to come from, etc. Well, same thing. We tend to be on autopilot most of the time from a consciousness standpoint. And the whole idea here is to start becoming conscious of our choices. When we do that, we start finding alignment. We start unveiling it because it's already there. We just haven't chosen to be present to it. And so, as we do that, then we start to find harmony, which leads me very conveniently to three tips to find harmony within. And so, if you are in a space where you have had a conflict with someone, or there are overwhelming challenges from a business standpoint, or personal ones for that matter, it's the same. There are three steps you can go through that will help you to find harmony in that moment, right? Which, from that standpoint, that new standpoint, will help you to be present to more harmony afterwards in the next moment and in the next moment. But first you have to start at some point, right? So, and usually when we are in a crisis mode, it's easier for us to stop for a second and take these steps. So, first step, if you have observed in your life and in your everyday moments, we tend to disperse ourselves in the future or the past, or both for that matter. So, in other words, we have energies or stories that are located in the past. I was this, I was that, and it was great, and so on. Or in the future, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, etc. And most of the time, or most of your energy in general, is not in the middle, in the now moment. There's basically nobody there. So, what if we take a moment, a few seconds, a minute, to realize that, see these memories and these expectations, and say, okay, let's be here now for a second, for a few minutes. That's the first step. That is an essential step because it's the only step where, the only place where you can actually have a transformation moment that enables you to step in a new moment that will be easier for you and more in flow. So, step one, be in the present moment, in now, in this physical body, in this environment in which you are. Okay. Step two. Step two is about acceptance. It's about accepting what is here and now. Whatever it is, wherever is a judgment needed or not, doesn't matter at the moment. what the situation is as it is in this moment, I accept it as such. And I surrender to it, meaning that I am not judging it. I am just here to be there for that situation, whichever it is. And I am trusting that this is going to unfold in a great way for all the parties involved. I surrender to it, so meaning that I don't have an opinion, I don't decide what it should or should not be. I just accept it as such and I surrender to it. Which leads me to the third step, which is to open yourself to more compassion. Compassion for the other person, compassion for yourself, compassion for the situation, compassion for potentially the emotions that you may be feeling related to that situation. So having compassion and patience for yourself so that you can be accepting that moment as an amazing opportunity, not to identify yourself and lose yourself in it, but more to make a conscious choice of, okay, it is that way. I accept it. May not love it to the fullest extent, but at least I open myself to it. And then from there, I am more serene. I have more peace and balance, and I can choose better than before. And that's what harmony is about.
I love these very practical three steps. And you say, there is nobody there in the here now. There is nobody. So the universe is here for you. It's full of abundance. Everything is here. But you are not here. Your energy is either in the past or in the future. I think that points out very well where most of us are, including myself. Always, thinking about the next thing, or still digesting the old thing, or understanding what happened in the past. But there is this moment right here, and we can be absent. I want to dive deep into the book that you just published, and especially in what it says here in the book, that Arnaud Saint-Paul, he went through his awakening when he was 13. I want to know everything about it after one word from our sponsors. What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation? Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints method. Order your copy of Strategy Sprints 12 Ways to Accelerate Growth for an Agile Business on Amazon today. And if you love it, leave us a review. For more information, head over to strategysprints.com. He awakened when he was 13. Was it just like a spontaneous thing, or did it stay? Tell us, what was it about?
It was spontaneous in the sense that, reality was offering me the question, do I believe in God or not? Do I believe, but where is God in this case? It was a very spiritual thought, right? And for me, it was self-evident that it was everywhere and in all places, and that I was in direct contact with it, so to speak. And so it was sudden, and at the same time, it was progressive. That was, through a lot of readings and being with myself, I was able to connecting with inner truths that I wouldn't have had the possibility if I were surrounded by people all of the time, right? So, and I was lucky enough to be living in the nature, in the forest. So that also helps in that direction. And it did stay because very quickly I was offered to help people around me and friends, right, in my teenage years, and then I continued on this. It became a quest around answering the question, "Who am I?" which I am still on, so right now. And that quest led me to study the different religions, the different philosophies, the Western ones, the Eastern ones, the practices, the yoga, meditation, and so on, and energy healing, and all that stuff. So that that helped me to bring about to this world the Heartful Method, which is 160 charts that helps a person to change from a mind way of living the world to a heart driven one. And I help CEOs to really make that shift so that they can bring more flow and harmony into their lives and their companies. And it's very efficient. It happens in 90 days. And it's kind of a visual map of how consciousness works and how we can live a more fulfilled, happy, a a life made of more balance and peace and love, and at the same time be successful and thriving.
And so, if you want to bring them from the mind to the heart, but you use charts, which are a mind tool.
Yes.
How is that possible?
Actually, so it's charts, it's drawings, right? And it's better to have charts because it's an image, 1,000 words, right? Than using words. That is more knowledge based. So this is visual. It's visual, and obviously we talk directly, and we go through the details of the challenges that the person is going through. And but it is very visual of all the different ways we can understand ourselves. And it came that way to me as I was on my path in the past 30 years.
One of the challenges of writing a book is that you have to take these things that are very hard felt, that you feel, and you need to get them across. How was that in finding the right form to get them across to the other side?
Well, I had that challenge with my preface. With the content of the book, no, because these are tools that I use for myself, right, on my own journey. And it's a collection of them that became cohesive. And so they were natural. They were these poems came when I needed them for me to dive deeper into one aspect or another. And the preface was very interesting because I had to explain why does it work, and in a language that is not too, or that was pragmatic enough for people to get it right. And that was I was thankful because a journalist helped me to reiterate many times over, and finding a place where I was able to convey the essence of why it works and how can I use words to help me change my person and my reality. It's some kind of deep and powerful, right? Well, there's a good reason for that, and one that most of the time we have forgotten, but it's there. And um, and that's what I explained in the preface. And so that took a while. Probably, yeah, the preface took a month to write, when the rest of the book took also a month, but it's way bigger. And so, yeah, very interesting journey in any case.
People, this is the book. It's beautiful outside and inside. It's a series of poems that go directly to your true self and how you can get in contact with it. And it's called I is Born. Everybody, get the book. Get the book.
And if you're interested more about the 3 ways to find harmony, like workshops, I have a website, tapuat.com/harmony, where you can subscribe. And there's a whole workshop there that on that same topic and more.
tapuat.com/harmony.
Harmony.
And so you work one-to-one with people, and you get their stuff, right? Their stories. So how do you clean your energy in between clients?
I don't need to, because I'm very, very clear on the fact that this is their world. It's not mine. It's their world. So I work with that person, and I even have had couples, but separately, right? So I'm managing both sides at the same time. And it's because basically, in my view of the world and what works for me and the CEOs that I've been working with, the our world, so this world I'm living now, right, with my reality, with the people I'm working with, and so on, it is only one. There's only one in the world that happens that way. It's my world, and then you have yours, and etc. And they are all separate from one another. Now we still share a reality, of course, but each of us have a different viewpoint of it. For instance, you're watching me, I'm watching you, and so this is totally separate, and you have your own ways to connect to your reality. You have your own perceptions, you have your own judgments, etc., etc., etc. So it is actually, on the contrary, working with each of these worlds comes and brings me um, more richness, I guess, and more energy, because they are reconnecting with themselves, which means that my world is reconnecting to itself as well. So it's magical.
And that's a general, I think it's a general way to deal with boundaries and to deal with people, because people listening here,
Yeah.
they deal with hundreds of people every day, and sometimes they go, oh my god, I'm tired, I'm flat. So could they apply this principle?
Yeah,
um,
by all means, of course. It's, you know, we the thing is, we tend to, as we are talking about the fact that we're putting energy in the future or in the past, we're also putting energy in the people, meaning we're identifying with them or with whatever situation they bring to us. The moment we are identifying with something, we're losing energy.
ha
So if
so we have to explain identifying. What options do we have to identify
Right,
with?
yeah, good question. So let's say you walk in the street and you you cross people there. Okay, you cross them, basically they are nothing to you, and you go, and not a problem, everything is neutral, right? So that's the default mode, or at least it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Now we continue on that street, and let's say that there is a person that is asking for money there, and you have a thing related to that, whatever that is, and all of a sudden you see that person and you have a reaction, right? Okay, because that's your story. So a story coming from the past, most likely in this case. So all of a sudden you have identified to that situation, whatever the outcome, doesn't matter in this case, and you are investing attention, energy in that identification process. So, in other words, you're leaving a little bit part of you in that incident, whatever that happened there. You could have had a neutral a attitude, and you could have gone through your path, and that person doesn't mean anything to you. But it was not the case in this case. So it's just a way to illustrate both states
Mm.
that we can choose from, right?
And it's
In a
powerful.
conscious
So
way.
when we identify, we lose energy, and if we
Yes.
don't identify with single parts, so we stay in our endless opportunity, infinite
Yes.
being, we don't lose energy. So in theory, if we learn your method, we might have much higher energy, maybe unlimited energy.
It's a potential, definitely, if we allow it.
That's
If
interesting.
that's
And what about love relationships? In love relationships, we go into all the jungle of identification, the good and bad, the low, the highs. But we identify, or am I wrong?
yes and no. And when working with me, we learn to understand paradoxes, right? Because we have different viewpoints, and they have different frameworks of mind. The loving relationship, meaning being with your partner, right? And the same with the kids, but let's start with the partner right now. And it is the whole game there is to open your heart, which is your life journey in general way. Whatever you're doing, however you're occupying your days, our life journey is to open our heart more and more and more, to experience ourselves from different angles and open our heart. So the same here, we kind of taking an accelerator by matching ourselves with a
Mhm.
partner, and we open our heart, like being with a pet. That's also another way, right? But anyway, yes, we do have an identification process happening in that partnership, and which is necessary so that we can let go of ourselves. So step aside ourselves at this I and be freer to really open and embrace. At a certain point, there is a need of letting go of that identification too, and find that that love is within, that has always been there, is the source of you, of that beautiful being that you are, whether your partner or not is there, whether your partner is there or not, right? So all of a sudden, you are that fountain of love and energy, of being the source, right? And you love that partner from that place, which was
Mhm.
way more powerful than
Mhm.
in the identification process we were discussing at the beginning.
Mhm.
And together, ideally, you are these two fountains of love that are blossoming.
So it's not about just being distant, right? So we
No.
walk around the street, we don't care, we are not them. But then of course with our kids, with our loved ones, that's highly emotional, right? But you say, yeah, 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 stay there, stay, open your heart, just do not identify with a part. Like I am the father, I'm the mother, I'm the person who cooks now, or whatever we identify with, right?
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, it's opening yourself to all the potentials, allowing them to happen, and loving them for loving all that, and including the characters in your beautiful movie, to be loved by you from a place of not from a place of I miss you or something like that, which is okay too, to to feel it for a little while, but from a place of abundance, of inner abundance, which applies to business right away too, right? If I consider my business from a place of abundance, it will become abundant. If I uh, identify to it from a place of lack, it will be always from scarce, right? It won't make revenue and so on. So that same process we're talking about partners applies to absolutely everything in our life, in our relationship with ourselves.
That is powerful. And so one exercise for us can be to be aware, where do we lose energy, and then to try this exercise and see, hey, wait a moment, maybe that's my thing, my trigger that gets me into losing energy, because I identify, and then they
Yeah,
can try this exercise.
yeah.
People, the book I I is Born, beautiful book. Get it wherever you buy books. And if you buy it on Amazon, leave him an Amazon review. Amazon loves that. I just found out. And where can people find you? Where do you hang out?
So you go to my website, tapuat.com, tapuat.com. And again, if you want to have an excerpt of the workshop, Three Ways to Find Harmony, you go to tapuat.com/harmony, and you can subscribe there.
Tapuat.com/harmony, everybody. And you live in different places. Why do you
Yeah.
live in Los Angeles and France and Bali? Can you?
Well, I guess it depends on where I'm needed. That's number one.
Mhm.
And also, I have that relationship now with reality, with the universe, where when I feel that I need to be in some place, I go there and stay a few months, see friends, and then go back. And it helps me. It's also a way for me to explore another aspect of myself through another environment. Why France? Because I'm French originally, but more importantly, my kids are here, and then LA have a great community there, and Bali is an amazing spiritual place as well, where I can deepen my work. So many good reasons.
And when you are in those places, do you identify with the place, or just enjoy having the place amplify some aspects of you without identifying?
Yeah, the second part, yes, it's definitely, as I mentioned earlier, exploring an aspect of me, right? So I am happy to be there. I'm there for, X amount of time, and I am enjoying this moment of me in that environment. And so it's pure bliss. It's living the dream life, right? And fortunately enough, I can manage my different initiatives anywhere I am, so that's not a problem.
And does it help in taking the material possessions less seriously? Uh,
Yeah, I mean, it is true that in my case, I have one suitcase and I go anywhere I want. So it's a very simple life, but a very, very enjoyable one. Now, one can have one house or several houses and, offices and employees and all that stuff. It does help to have a more simple life. But however, it is still possible to choose a path of harmony with many many people around, and ownership of different things, etc. It's just, again, it's a choice. It's a choice that we have all in our power, and we have to be patient with ourselves.
I was listening today to the TED Talk, the latest TED Talk by Elon Musk, and he shares there that he doesn't own a house and that he stays with friends wherever he is. He stayed with friends. And right now he's mostly around Austin because he's needed there. There is the Gigafactory right now. He's needed
Yeah,
there, like you say. And then the rest is really more freedom for him. He's purpose driven, like you are. He has his mission. His business is a vehicle for him to express this vision,
yes,
and and that makes him quite free, because when he then finds, okay, I'm gonna buy Twitter just to troll them around, he has that freedom available. He just does that. 3 days later, he does the next thing.
yeah.
It's incredible, right? There are so many conceptions that we live in, and we think that's the way you do it. You are in one country, and you build material possessions there. There are also other concepts.
But you touched on something very important just a second ago. We are all business creators, right? We are creators, and we create these businesses to not just make a living, but more as a message of or representation of ourselves, of our essence. And that's the important bit. The material aspects are a consequence of that message that we're carrying out to the world through business in this case, and which is the focus that we have, or we should have in any case. And then because of that, an Elon Musk, or well, that seems to be the hero of the day, or of the month, in any case, of the year. But any person,
I wish.
any entrepreneur in any case, have the ability, because they are living their vision, because they are going on their path, and they are expressing themselves through that business therefore flows and brings in the bounties that come with it. Do I want to identify with these bounties? We're coming back to the first conversation, right? And that's where some people get trapped, and they identify with their houses, the the, cars and whatnot, and that's where they stay. It's not that they are trapped; they can still choose otherwise at some point. But they stay and they're happy and they live their lives that way. It's okay. It's great.
We choose those things because we want more freedom. And the first time I heard that you live in so different places, I was like, oh, wait a moment, but how do I organize this and that and that and that? So those things become also the opposite of freedom if we don't double check them, right? What was their purpose in the first place, right?
Exactly.
This is beautiful, and I wish Elon Musk will ever become the hero of the month in any planet that I am on, because I'm with the last 14 years. He has always been ridiculed, not taken seriously in every country, in every corporation that I was in. But yeah, maybe things are changing. He's now delivering so solid results that it's hard. It's hard to ridicule him further. Arnaud Saint-Paul, everybody, go get his book. I is born wherever you buy books. Tapuat.com/harmony is where you find him if you want to find your inner harmony, grow your business by being more of a source of happiness and energy for yourself and for everybody around you. Is there a social media where you hang out most?
Yeah, I mean, on the website you have access to all social media, but it's basically Tapuat. But it depends on which channel. Yeah, totally.
Thank you so much for being on the show, sharing your journey, your tools,
Simon.
Your wisdom.
You're amazing, and Strategy Sprint is awesome, and you're lighting up the world.
Thank you, my friend. Keep rolling and come back soon.
Hey, if you love what you are hearing, you will love our free masterclasses. Go grab them at strategysprints.com.
What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation? Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints method. Order your copy of Strategy Sprints 12 Ways to Accelerate Growth for an Agile Business on Amazon today. And if you love it, leave us a review. For more information, head over to strategysprints.com.